And now I would like to invite Geoffrey Smith, who's been our program leader for 22 years and has been an enormous part of this monitoring program.
Thanks, Celia.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody. Apologies, I've been a bit invisible. I've been experiencing some health challenges, but I wouldn't miss this. Well, like the old wild horses couldn't keep me away from this is a very exciting event. 22 years ago, when I first joined council, through the Urban Runoff Control Program, council had begun probably one of the most comprehensive water quality monitoring programs of its kind. And it was designed to demonstrate to UNESCO the importance and biodiversity of our waterways and the fact that Blue Mountains Council was going to take steps to mitigate the impacts of urban runoff on the downstream World Heritage Area, because one of the big concerns UNESCO had was you can't put a city in the middle of a World Heritage Area. And luckily we had a minister, Bob Davis, at the time, and he allocated $20 million of resourcing to mitigate the challenges of urban runoff and put in a program of creek line restoration, degraded lands, getting, all those old tips and all the old quarries. We started an ambitious program of bushland regeneration, and the bush care program is already being run by the community. It was given a boost, and so we were able to actually fund additional bush care officers to grow that program, and it became, and as you know, one of the most successful citizen volunteer programs of its kind. But on top of that, they wanted to actually do some monitoring, which is almost unheard of these days, to find out what the current state of our waterways were, and then how they would change or could change over time. And with data, you need that kind of linear long term to actually get some of the trends, because a lot of times when you take a water sample, you're only getting a sample at 11:03 at this particular waterway, and you don't really know whether last night when it rained, if all the real heavy pollutants went through the system. And Bruce Chessman, who was from Sydney Water at the time, and I helped design the first water bug detective guide with Bruce when I was working at Streamwatch. They realized that the water bugs live in the creek 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The crayfish in particular, sometimes up to 40, 50, 80 years. In some cases, some of the real slow growing ones, I've heard some of the underwater ones, the underground ones can live for 200 years. So these guys live in the waterway a long time. And if you can start to monitor those particular aquatic insects and see how the diversity changes over time, you can get a much better handle on the water quality of our creeks. And so we had some priority subcatchments. So when I came along, we just inherited the monitoring program. We were working in partnership with national parks. The state government was funding a lot of it. And so when council took over the program, I took over the program. And I got all these maps from Bruce Chessman. And he was a Rogainer, so he would go out into the bush. And he decided, well, we'll just put a monitoring site 500 meters down the creek line from the beginning of the creek, and then 1.5 kilometers. And if you know anything about our waterways, you go 100 meters this way, you go 100 meters that way. And all of a sudden, quickly, you realize you come to an edge, and Bruce's site's right down the bottom of the Rose Valley. You're going to go, how am I going to get there? And it was interesting. We started to realize the importance of documenting access. And over the years, we had to modify sites to make them more accessible, safe. Because a couple places, Asgard Swamp, Jungabar, literally you're climbing down cliffs, right, Amy? We don't mention to the risk guys, but if they knew where we were going with nets and backpacks and stuff, anyways, it was a privilege, because I would come home from work every day and pinch myself. This is my office, and I was, having left the state government, so it was my dream job. And 22 years later, it still is the dream job, because I've got the dream team, and we're able to continue on with this phenomenal water quality monitoring program, and to demonstrate that not only does the Blue Mountains have some of the healthiest natural waterways in the state, I suspect you know, in terms of like other urban footprints around the country, both in terms of in-stream biodiversity, but the fact that we're able to maintain overall and demonstrate, because everyone knows it costs much more cost effective to keep intact, healthy waterways healthy than it is to restore a degraded waterway. And I'm saying that from experience, having spent millions of dollars down in Brookville Creek on the northern beaches, and all the money you have to invest in South Creek to get it from really, really, really bad to really, really bad. You know, so you can spend millions and millions of dollars and just move the needle a little bit once you let it get degraded. But if you have an intact system, you can protect. And so really that's been our job, is to use the evidence base, the scientific data, to demonstrate that our approach, catchment-wide, really works. And so it's continuing to this day. We're still working in these priority sub-catchments, and we have a long history, which you'll hear from the team about that exciting program. But I just want to welcome you. It's been an absolute privilege for me to have spent the last 22 years protecting our healthy waterways, and also have a phenomenal team. It's just been an absolute delight to have such dedicated, passionate, knowledgeable, committed individuals that go way beyond the call of duty. I mean, as I said, the number of going out post bushfires, going out on days when it's like 40 degrees, going out when it's raining, going out when it's foggy. So it's just, it's been an absolute privilege for me to have such a great team. And I just want to welcome you today, and I'll stick around for some of the questions if you want to ask some of the older, the historical kind of questions. But I'll turn it over to Alice and one of our newest members. And having said that, she's been here for 7 years, and that's how I said we don't get a turnover. Once you get into this team, you don't want to leave, do you? And I'm only leaving because I got to. I'm retiring, so this will actually be my last official like working day, or whatever. I mean, day at work. But I'm stepping off the water slide, and it's been a delight. So I can't think of a better way to go out than this event. So welcome.